Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SK Tech. So in our previous video, we have discussed about what is polymorphism and what are the types of polymorphism is available. Right? We have seen the overview of that. Now let's see one by one each of the polymorphism. So in today's video, we are going to discuss first compile time polymorphism. So in this, we are going to discuss like what is the method overloading and what is the example. So as we have already seen, there are two types of polymorphism, right? First is compile time polymorphism and second is runtime polymorphism. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about compile time polymorphism. So what is compile time polymorphism? First of all, these types of polymorphism in Java is also called as static polymorphism or a static method dispatch. And we have already seen that in our previous video, compile time polymorphism can be achieved using the method overloading. And we will see why we are calling this as a compile time polymorphism. So let's see first of all what is method overloading, because using that method overloading only we are going to achieve this compile time polymorphism in Java. So what is method overloading? So when there are multiple methods with the same name in the same class but with the different signature. So what is the meaning of the different signature? So different signature can be of like different number of the arguments, different type of the argument, or the different order of the argument, right? So let's see what we are trying to say here. So let's say we have a class called compile time, and here we have a two method with the same name. If you see here, the same name, right? Static int parameter, and it is having one argument, and in another one the same method name with the same name in the same class, but the argument is having different. So right now we have seen there are three types of things, right? That can be different in terms of the number of the argument, or the type of the argument, or the order of the argument. So in this case, if you see, it is having different types of the argument, or you can say different number of the argument, because here it is having one argument and here it is having two argument. So when we call this method using the object of this class, we can call like this. But since this is the static method, we can call without creating the object of the class also, right? That's what we have seen in one of the video. So let's say we want to call the parameter by passing the one argument which is doing something here, right? So let's say like side of the square of the four parameter square will be, let's say we are passing one argument with the parameter, not parameter, basically the perimeter, right? So if you can see here, the same class name we are using it, same method name, but the argument we are passing as a one argument. So it is going to call, it is going to search where it is available and which one is matching it specifically. So here it is going to call this perimeter method, and again with the same class, with the same method we are calling perimeter only for the end user, and but now we are passing two arguments like 10 and 13, right? So it is going to call the another one, another perimeter, because that is the two argument. It is going to match with this and it is going to perform the operation and going to return it. So here if you can see at the compile time, it means that during the running of this program we have already given, so compiler already know which parameter or which method it is required to be called. Here it is going to call this first method, and in this case it is going to call this method. So this identification is done at the compile time itself. That's why we are calling this method overloading is nothing but the compile time polymorphism only, right? That's why we call that compile time polymorphism, because compiler already know at the time of compile only. So if you run this program, we will see the output something like this: side of the square 4, so perimeter of the square will be 16. That's what we are printing it here. And then if we call the perimeter second method, then it is going to print like perimeter of rectangle will be something like this. So this is the one example of the compile time polymorphism or the method overloading. Let's see another example of the method overloading. So this time let's say we have a class called compile time again, and now we have, let's say, contact method. So in this case, if you see contact method which takes two argument, string and long. So earlier we have seen number of the argument, right? That's what we have seen here. This is having int type but one argument. Here it is also having int type but two argument. Now we are seeing like the same method is defined. I mean to say multiple method has been defined but with the different types of the argument. Here if you see, it is taking as a string and long, and here it is taking string and string. And similar to that, So this is also the example of the method overloading, because same method is defined multiple times in the same class but with a different number of the argument, or you can say different type of the argument. So similar to that previous, if we call this two method and if you provide the parameters something like this, let's say we are calling like compile time, the class name dot contact method, and providing the name as a string and some number. So it is going to match first, it is having string and the number, then this method only it is going to call. So if you run this program, you will see output something like this. Name is what are the Sohan and number is something. And if you call the same method again, contact method only with the same class, and this time if you are providing the string is string, so it is going to search first. This is also the contact method, this is also having the two argument, so it is going to match. Is it matching or not? Yeah, it is matching. Then second argument, no, it is not matching. Then it will go to the another method. Then it will see, okay, this method is also available here, and in this time it will see, okay, first argument is a string only and second argument is also a string only. So this method is going to call and it is going to return this output. So it is printing like name is Sohan and email is whatever the email that we have provided, sohan@email.com. So in our previous example we have seen number of the argument different in the method signature. In this case we have seen type of the argument is different, because here also having two argument, here is also having two argument, name is also having same, but type is different. Here we are taking string and long, and here we are taking string and string. So this is another example of the method overloading. So that's all for today's video. Basically we wanted to discuss what is compile time polymorphism. So the compile time polymorphism is nothing but when the method calling is decided by the compiler at compile time, and that can be achieved using the method overloading. So that's all for today's video. In next upcoming video we are going to discuss runtime polymorphism. So stay tuned, we'll meet you soon. Thank you.